Hi, my name is Carolina Trujillo. I am going to present to you about a child neglect. This story is about a girl who's 6 years old. Her name is Danielle. Um, I found this very interesting, and I will go ahead and explain her story. Um, on July 13, 2005, police officer received a phone call from the neighbor, and he saw a pale girl with a dark eye lift dirty blanket up from the broken window, and he had never seen a child before. The neighbor near the small home were only familiar family members, such as the mother, the mom's boyfriend, and the two brothers. Let's see. When the police showed up at a 800 square feet home, they stumbled across a appealing condition of the house was one of the worst that they ever saw. All the appliances were sticky. The house contained a strong odor and had animal feces everywhere. And they explained that there were thousands and thousands of cockroaches. So one of the detectives got sick and had to leave the scene. Uh, Back in the dark, empty room, an officer saw a young girl in a fatal position. When she saw him, she crept, walked into a corner of the room, tucked her knees under herself, and growled. She was wearing a spoiled diaper that appears to be on for a couple of days, and there were bugs everywhere. She was covered with some rashes and only weighed about 46 pounds. This little girl was panicked because of she never been in contact with other humans, and she didn't make direct eye contact with anyone or didn't know how to speak. So her mother, Michelle Crockett, how she could let her daughter be this bad, and she says she tried very hard. Let's see. So they had this DCPS come visit their homes, but he or she had never got into contact with Danielle to be able to evaluate her well-being because her mother refuses to allow them in. So in this assessment, it explains the living situation that we know that she was living in a dirty house. She was wearing the same diaper for a couple of days, and bugs was all over her body, covered with rashes. We know that she weighed about 46 pounds, and she'd never been exposed to people, especially to police officers or medical examiners, those type of people. In this case, I identified her support system. So we know that she has her neighbor who saw her for the very first time, her lawyers, police officer, and medical examiners, medical professionals like doctors and nurses. Um, and then she came across a new family after 2 years of being in a hospital. She met Bernie and Diane in 2007, and they became her support system. Bernie has said all they would tell us if you don't want her, it's like, well, we really want to know more. The couple has told Danielle she had environmental autism and her care would have to be consistent and overwhelming. But they didn't care about that. They just want to be able to adopt her. Um, so eventually her adopted mom kind of was overwhelmed and she had left and divorced her husband. So Bernie was left to take care of her, but at the same time, he was already kind of up here. So he wanted to take her to a safe group home for her, so that way he could still visit her and stuff. Um, so I would like to use a safety assessment because we want to be able to gather all the information um, just to keep her away from harm families and situations. So we want to be able to find things that will help her to grow and to just to have a safety future for herself, you know. And I know that the CPS didn't get to step in before, but now that they can see that she is in a better place with these new families. So hopefully that will continue on. Let's see, interpersonal. Uh, so the only interpersonal I would say, the mother, she is more closer to her boyfriend and her two sons because they're already grown. So I guess um, she was able to allow Danielle to stay with them too. So while she will go out doing her own thing. And I noticed that Danielle, she is not as close to either her family members. Maybe she is closer to her current family. I'm not sure about her brothers, if she's still in contact. It doesn't say um, that sort of information in my research. Also, I would like to share interpersonal. Mother was growing up to be a single mom and she has no idea who her father is, her daughter's father. But she had two previous sons before previous boyfriend, and she's been smoking and hitting up strange men. No one knew she had a daughter until the neighbor saw her in the window. I think that was changed a lot. um, Environmental factors that we understand that this house was very dirty and very unsafe, and we were able to identify from the police officer that this house was very bad, very bad, and there was an interview saying that the one of the police officers got sick and he had to leave from the scene. Okay, the intervention plan I came up with was that she should continue to be in this group home because it seems like she is doing very well. According to the article, um, she was becoming more trusting of women. Her aide is the only person that Danielle has ever combed her hair, worker at the group home have taught her how to toss her clothes in the laundry basket. She made her own bed. She was able to put Snoopy stuffed animals on her pillow. She knows how to do her grace. She knows when to do the grace. And also, one thing that would not change about her though, even though in 15 years, Danielle's favorite place is still outside, away from any type of home. So we want to get her more active, outgoing, being able to find. Also want to find a speech therapy for her because right now she is 21 years old. She have gained 200 pounds and she is not speaking. So I want to be able to find someone that will allow them time to get her to speak again. And also stay in touch with her foster father. Even though he's out doing his thing, he should still be able to be in her life. Because I know that she won't have that father figure because she doesn't know who her father is. Um, intervention. Um, having an intervention will help keep those goals in check, just to make sure that she is getting the help that she needs, being recognized, providing the proper services to keep her into healthy lifestyle. Um, yeah, so she'll be able to do the things like she can at her age, um, just like any other 21-year-old, she can be able to get all the services that she qualified for. Um, this is very hard topic to talk about. One thing I would like to do differently is to make sure that if someone is acting different or doing something different out of the norms, we can always send someone out to check on their homes, do an inspection, making sure that the family is living in a nice lifestyle. um, Also, adopting a child is one thing that we went over. That is a good thing that she is having some other family is changing her ways of what she was living before. Um, and decision making is hard. Trying to be able to give that I'm trying to think of a better word. Um, let's see, trying to think. Hmm, let's see, decision making for this is yeah, it's really hard to explain. Intervene to lessen harms and prevent future risk. We want to be able to focus on her primary care. Um, to be able to have a training programs that focus on behavioral. We want to find ways to treat abuse and neglect exposures, and also we wanted to prevent problems on behavior, and that may include into violence. My reaction when I first read this, I was furious. I was mad. Um, but at the same time, I was heartbroken because of how this mother was not brought out to put her time and effort on her children. Even though her two sons are a teenager, she would do the same thing for her daughter. And if but if she wasn't ready, I think the most accountable thing she would do is put her up for adoption, allow her to grow into someone that is ready and would take on for her life. That way it would kind of change of how she was going through. Um, because she at the end she has lost her ability to speak, um, but she is gaining some other strength, which is very beautiful to see. And she would have been living a much safer environment of how maybe with this family she would have been loved, been her two adopted parent would have they still be married if it wasn't as too much as she was growing up to regain her strength. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say. It's either the original story, if you guys want to find out more about it. I thought this was really good case study for me, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.